Alright, hey everybody, we are actually in the eye wall of a slightly stronger Ada. It is unbelievable. Whipping here.
This old job is always causing stress.
I'm touching the truck here.
All I ever do is work. I don't get no rest.
Man, I got some video
First
footage.
night is on the way.
Crazy. Let me see if I can get outside.
Down in trouble water.
You just wouldn't believe how much rock in the truck is. Oh shit.
Oh, man, drunk donkey IPA. Let that magic mango chase my blues away.
We're in the eye of Ada here in Key Largo.
Among my friends.
Tremendous
I
weather
swear the page goes live again.
coming in. Currently, I'm semi-protected here by my truck, so no worries. But semi-protected. I don't want to get the camera wet, but man, the trees beside me are completely sideways. I'm not sure what the gusts are, but definitely this is the tropical storm. I think we're seeing a little higher gusts. I got the back turned right now and trying to keep the camera from getting wet. We're in Key Largo. We're in the eye of Ada.
All right, what's up, world? The whole world. Hey, you know I'm going to ruin everybody's day right now. Ready? It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. Now it's in your head. You can't get it out. You're going to be singing that song all day long. Well, good morning. It's Thursday. There's our Thursday song. Little Hunter looked anxious today to be the dog of choice, so I picked Hunter. Good morning, world. Alexa, that ain't going to work, Shelly. This is our romper room session.
Chili. You must first gather the ingredients, which typically include chili peppers, cumin, garlic, onions.
Alexa's teaching me how to cook chili.
You then must put the chili in hot and cool.
Alexa, off. Where the heck did that come from? Anybody else go off to telling you how to cook chili? Oh, man. Anyway. Well, good morning, everybody. This is Mike here, Mike's Story Page. We're coming to you live from Oldsmar, Florida. It's Thursday, I almost said January. It's July 25th. This is Hunter. He looks bored. And we're going to talk weather. We've been talking weather here on Facebook since 2016. Now we've expanded to YouTube, X, Instagram, TikTok, and our new MWPchat.com. Courtney, you got a little rain in the afternoons coming. So we're going to talk about the tropics. Got a little bit of tropics talk. Nothing any more or any less than yesterday. So nothing to worry about. We do have some weather I'm going to go into real quick. Morning, Miss Teresa. What's up, Mr. James? Working on my Storm Chaser, and I am got some big projects I am so excited about on my truck. Working on my internet. It's fun to have stuff to look forward to, right? Chandra, good morning from Belize. How's it going over there? All right, so Daily Brew brought to you by our great friends ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. It's almost the weekend. Margaritaville Coconut Rum is my new favorite. It is the best. Actually had it on our cruise out of Tampa, and looks like I'll be heading there this weekend. We got a little softball Saturday, Sunday, so really appreciate the support there. All our Floridians hopefully visits ABC and supports them. They're family owned and operated and big supporters of our page now for 5 years. Only place to go when you need your adult goodies, that's for sure. There's our weather page. That's Mike's weatherpage.com. We're going to put on the radar while we chit-chat for a few minutes. This is our romper room session. Talk about the weather. Look at that lingering front. We call those linguine fronts since we like to keep it in the pasta theme. This front's been around forever. Kid Rock says, I ain't seen the sun in 3 damn days. Actually, I ain't seen the sunshine in 3 damn days. Remember that lyric show? I thought I'd be a rock star, right? No, man. I thought it was ain't seen the sun in 3 days. It's ain't seen the sun shine 3 damn days. But Texas is soaking all the way up through the Carolinas, northward Virginia. That's been a storyline all week. We've got a strong high-pressure system over the Atlantic, which our friend Lori Rye controls, Bermuda High, and it's blocked this frontal line from moving. And it's been pulling up Gulf moisture towards Texas and Louisiana, so they're under a flooding risk again today. We'll get into it. Man, Hunter, you look very bored. Why don't you wake up a little bit, buddy? I'm going to try to make him head right so you can follow his head. We'll do that for a little bit. That's right, TBBC. Look, I'm even wearing my TBBC shirt. Look, as I love TBBC. We love ABC, TBBBBC. What's up, Brian? Dolson from Louisiana. Getting a lot of rain in Louisiana, Dolson. Mary wants me to give you a kiss. All right. There you go, buddy. He sleeps with between my leg last night. He's a good boy. Kathleen, what's up? Western North Carolina soaked. Loretta, yep. You're under flood area risk again today. Peggy from New Jersey. So, Dana, what's up? You've got back up in here. What's 3 years? League, Texas, what's up there, League City, Texas? Morning from Cozumel, Dan. All right, you vacationing, Dan? Peggy in Ocala got a daughter. What's up, William Strunk? This is our boy Hunter. Look how good he is. He doesn't even move. He's a good boy. You stay. Panama City, that's my favorite home away from home. Sherry. I love the Gulf Coast Jam. Johnny, Gulf Shores. Michigan got some wacky weather this year. Andrea from Boca Raton. Boca. What's up, buddy? All right, so we put you down and talk weather. New Orleans, check it in. Ellen, yes. Everybody's waiting on the tropics, which is probably a good thing, right? The Euro has not got any more aggressive on our African wave. Now, I do post a lot when there's models, and I hope I post equally when there's not. The problem with social media is there's a lot of interaction when there's model support. Things get a little wild. People come out, have their opinions. But when I post the tropics are not very active, the algorithm does not share that. So the ones that get mad at me for posting aggressive models don't see that I'm actually posting the models are not aggressive. But I try to be 50-50. My friends always say I'd be a good politician because I walk down the middle. But I have a bad past, so I would never make it. Dan's a diver down in Cozumel. Well, that's cool. That water is beautiful. I actually jumped in it there at the port and swam next to senior frogs. It was very blue. And I can say I did. We rented a car one time in Cozumel and drove around the island. It was pretty cool. A little scary. but I did. There's your radar. So what's cool about this is, man, it tells a story right here. High pressure, blocking, juice pumping in, and that's been the storyline for all week long. Nothing going on anywhere else. Very quiet. Storms begin to brew here in the southeast, and they've been shoving across the state. Classic Florida pattern returns. I can't tell you the last time we've had this classic Florida pattern, at least for me, in a long time. Rains were always so random. Weather was so unpredictable. But we've had this high pressure locked in now. Talking to my dad, 86 years old, he doesn't remember a very consistent pattern with rains in a very long time. We've had a very consistent summertime pattern here. Reminiscent of me growing up. I tell the story all the time. Living in Palmetto, living in Bradenton, 3, 4 o'clock, you'd see the clouds brewing. You'd see them rolling in. That was your cue to go to eat dinner. Rain, storm. You go out about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night when the sun's going down and roads are still wet. Tires would splash water on your butt. You play. You come home. You watch all these sitcoms that we all remember, and you hit repeat and do it all over again. Remember those days? Rebecca, yeah, I'd heard there was earthquakes in Texas, man. I don't follow her earthquakes, but I do know there was a couple of them. They were back to back to back. Nothing huge. 5 range, right? All right, so there's that. Let's talk about these little things I got popped up. All right, so here's your rainfall for the next 2 days. Heavy rain in lower Texas and Louisiana. Heavy rain in the coastal Carolinas. And then your normal rain, central Florida, westward into the Panhandle as the Bermuda High shoves in rains up. So there's your 2-day rain map. Saturday rains. Still got some in lower Texas, unfortunately. A little less there. Look at the Carolinas drying out. So if you're in Carolina, especially North Carolina, Virginia, it looks like nothing tomorrow. So that's good news if you're tired of the rain. And then on Sunday, more of the same. Nothing up there. Normal stuff. A little bit more in Texas. So Texas has been experiencing cool weather because of all this frontal action. And it's been forever. A little bit of rain up north. This Sunday rains. So a little bit of nutshell. What's going on? Here's your flood map for today. We're going to get into tropics here real quick, but there you go. Important to note, we got a red moderate area again, lower Texas all the way into Louisiana. Yellow flood risk there for all the Carolinas, literally all the Carolinas, and a little bit into Georgia there. That's for today's Thursday. Here's Friday, a little less in Texas as far as flooding potential. A little bit remains for the Carolinas. So that's Thursday and Friday. Still heavy rains across the southeast minus Florida. Now, this is flood potential. This is fast falling rains in areas that are already saturated. So we'll still get rains in the peninsula. It's just normal rains, not organized flooding potential rains. One more weather map before the tropics here. This is our Storm Prediction Center. And again, Groundhog's Day for the Carolinas and the Virginia, a little bit in the South Carolina. Could get some feisty little thunderstorms later today. So that's been the story all week. Rinse, repeat. What do you say? It's the same every day. Every day is the same. Groundhog's Day. Good morning, Jim Parker. Yeah, 81 degrees in Houston, Dana. What's up with that? Talked about it last week. John in the Villages. Where's the party at tonight? How old do I got to be to move to the Villages? I just like that they have golf cart charging stations. The bars have golf cart parking. Sounds like my kind of town. Where the heck's Ramrod Key? What's up, Matt? You see you got a fish in your hand, so it's probably fishing. What's up, Michelle? Good morning. Port Aransas, Texas. I know exactly where you're at. We were just up there for Barrel. You guys were kind of in the heart of things. Good morning, Orange, Texas. Still raining. Ain't seen the sun in 3 damn days. Tova from Boca, 5-year anniversary. Cool. Yeah, 81. I'm going to work on my truck before the heat gets. All right, so let's talk about the tropics. Here we go. Boom. That has been the static image now for weeks, as we've got nothing to talk about officially. So all those maps that I post, remember, I love looking long range. I love looking at what if. I will say I'm usually right more than wrong. I will say that. I'm proud of the track record. I'm not 100% convinced the euro is going to back off of our little system for next week. So we're going to talk about that here. But officially, if you love official information, if you love the idea that we got nothing to worry about through the weekend, and if you love the idea that there's no tropics until August, here you go. Celebrate. A, B, C, Fine Wine and Spirits time. Or get a good dinner at TBBC. The best calzones on the planet. Oh, I love their calzones. So there's that. All right. Tornado in Brooksville. Yeah, there was some serious storms in Brooksville yesterday. I want to look at this real quick. Oh, man, why am I blue? I don't know. I think it was just straight line winds. I saw a lot of damages coming out of Brooksville yesterday. I'm not sure if we actually had a tornado report. We don't know yet. Let's see. Here we go. No, nothing. Maybe high wind, but no tornado reports from yesterday yet. They didn't have a high wind report, which is odd. Hernando had. Oh yeah, Brooksville. Did you say Brooksville? So that was Hernando, Florida. So we had a high wind event. Estimated winds around 50 mile an hour winds. They didn't put the dot really in the right spot. It should be a little bit more east. So yeah, it's nothing official yet on what happened in Brooksville yesterday. No camping. I'm not going to tell Shelly. I'm not even going to tell you what I did yesterday. I'm not going to say it. Going to Daytona. Who gets some Emmy Award commercials? Is that the AB? Yeah, no, they take care of me. Shelly, no, I did not say that. You said that. Talladega, we know I'm doing. Hey, so I seen a bunch of people. Michelle, no. I'm not gonna camp. We're gonna sleep outside the camper. So I've seen a lot of these posts. I always had this global tropics hazards map, but it had a million different colors on it, and I don't know why I never updated the website to this one, but I did. So this is a little more cleaner. This is your global tropics hazards map. It looks towards the future. And you can see the percentages, 20% or less, nothing confident. This is basically that wave we're going to talk about here in great detail next for the first week of August. And they highlight, obviously, the week after, which is probably based more on history. You know there's going to be waves coming off Africa. You know there's clumps of clouds. The wave train is there. All you got to do is subtract African dust, and you know there's going to be a chance for tropics. When the water's record heat, and we have La Nina wind shear, which is zero wind shear, you know the tropics should start. You'd think they would, but they haven't yet. But there you go. That's a new map, and you can see that on Mike's weather page right here. I've changed it to this one right here. So that's got the latest hazards map if you really want to take a look at it. All right, so we'll close that. Now here's the water vapor map of what's going on. All right, weathernerds.org. Yes, we'll talk about the new NOAA cone, Laura Dixon. It hasn't been released yet, so I don't want to get too in depth with the new cone because I think they're still tweaking it. They said it might come out maybe September. I don't know. They didn't use it for barrel. So I don't want to get too much into that because I don't know if they're going to change it anymore. But basically, it's a new cone. We'll talk about it another day. What's up, Trent Hogg? What's cooking? The girls started watching Big Brother the other night. I'm like, oh. I used to watch Big Brother, but now they got some AI Big Brother on there. It's kind of weird. Okay, well, here's what everything looks like. This is a water vapor map. This is mid-level water vapor. This is kind of what the tropics need to feed off of if they're going to get going. So I'm sure you've heard it by now. Breaking news. We've had tons of posts, including me, about the dust in the Atlantic. It's so predictable. I've become a robot. But this is what I'm looking at. This whole area right here. This is moisture coming in off of Africa, and it's kind of winning the battle. And we're not seeing that dust as much in dry air now coming in off of Africa. This is historically what happens. We get the African rains thanks to Toto. Not Wizard of Oz Toto. But looks like a prairie dog. Oh, you ain't kidding, Stacy. Look at it. Look at this thing. You see it? What is that thing? What is that? You see the eyes right here? See the eyes? The nose? Oh my goodness, you ain't kidding. Look at that. What is up with that? Little feet. Kind of, actually, you know what? It kind of looks like a dolphin. Look. You could say that's a dolphin. I think it looks more like a dolphin. Kinda. Maybe more like a walrus. Well, anyway, it's Sal. We'll name it Sal. That's Sal. Sal is a creature in the Atlantic. But anyway, bottom line, what I've been watching, we're watching this little area here. It's coming on and off of Africa. There's the islands. It's considered a tropical wave now. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see if it creates its own little bubble. Beryl actually had a lot of dry air to the north and somehow made it across. So we'll have to see if there's enough moisture that it can actually make its way across. Yesterday the euro was pretty aggressive. Now it's not. But it'll be worth watching, this little area right here. This is the one that the NHC's kind of highlighted as a possibility. So we'll keep an eye on this the next several days. Models aren't any more or any less aggressive. Actually, maybe a little less aggressive today than they were yesterday. But other than that, now what is this little thing here? I don't know. Let's take a look at this thing. I'm curious. There's a lot of lightning there in the Atlantic. Let's take a look. What does that look like? Let's take a look. Let's look together. So it's an upper level disturbance. You can see it right here. I'm getting a lot of lightning actually. Upper level lows usually aren't very frequently dropping down to the surface. Look at that lightning though. There's a lot of lightning. I bet you somebody out there on a cruise ship saw some amazing lightning last night. Look at that. Michael Steven, bubble, bubble, bubble. Look at that. Well, that is pretty wild. So you got a little bit of flow coming down here. You got an overall pattern here of coming up, wrapping around. There's your frontal line, kind of fueling the motion. Let's see what it does. It's probably upper level. Let's see. There's probably nothing at the surface. Nope. There's your big high, low pressure. Look at that. There's your Bermuda high. Wrapping these winds around. No sign of circulation anywhere. Mid-level, 500. No. You're looking for anything that's counterclockwise. Bet you 250, it's going to pop out like a sore thumb. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Boom! A little lower, but still. This is where the convection's all firing off of that northern end of it. So. Might drift into Florida, maybe. Upper level, let's see. Anyway, all right, stay back in the tropics. Then we'll look at this more later. Satellite imagery of out west or out east. I always mess up at least once. There's your little bit of convection. So we saw this. We were tracking these little waves, and they indeed dried up because of all this dry air here. So, wait, actually one was only a wave, but that dry air definitely prevented things from happening. So you can kind of watch it in real time. These things come off of Africa all healthy looking, and they make that trek, and then they get ingested with all this dry air, and boom. So that's that. This little area coming in off Texas is nothing, obviously. This is just being fed by this high, and it's flowing moisture all the way to the Carolinas. That's that. So this is what we're watching. Let's look at some models and see what we got. Remember, Colorado State, interestingly enough, 22 more storms is what the big dogs predict. I am a very little dog. I am not a meteorologist, so I take a lot of their expertise and apply it into my messaging. What the heck's a honey badger? Indian Ocean's quiet too, yes. Hey, 22, man. We had nothing in July, nothing in August. And the end of August, things popped up. We had Ian, but 22 storms. I don't know. Time is ticking. Time is ticking. All right, so we officially only have 2 tropical waves. This one here is kind of a blend of all this stuff going on out here. So it is a little low pressure in Texas, but 1016 is not really low, that low. Bermuda high is pretty strong, 1028. Usually 1025 is norm. So Bermuda high is strong. Strong Bermuda highs tend to push waves a little lower as they wrap around early season. We've already saw that with Barrow and Alberto. So that's pretty high pressure this time of year. 1030 is pretty high too, but that's where we're at. Winds. So I do a little homework myself. Barrow had a little bit better circulation coming in around the Cape Verde Islands. Our tropical wave currently doesn't. Now we do see some sort of low-level circulation up by the islands. It's pretty high. Only on the lower level though, nothing 500. So we do have a weak sign of a low by the islands. Nothing really at the surface level though, so it's very odd. Really not seeing anything sticking out really right now as far as a true center for that clump coming in off of Africa. Maybe that's trying to get going. Maybe that's different. It's yet this morning. This little spot right here, maybe. We'll see what it does when it gets over water. But these things need a good circulation if they're going to develop. And just right now, it's very sloppy. So there's really nothing sticking out. We're going to look at that more in a second. So these are your latest ensemble plots from the Euro. And remember, I shared a bunch yesterday. I shared these today. Little less confidence in the Euro. This is our system coming in off of Africa here in the Atlantic. This is around August the 3rd. And this is the general area that we've been watching, around the 1st here. Boy, my thing doesn't work that good, too. Man, what's going on? My pointer's all messed up. That's kind of it's terrible. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's kind of been the trend. August 1, 2, 3, 4. 31st, somewhere around here. So that's kind of, lot less. It is a lot less. So what I've learned, when the Euro has a lot of days of consistency building, it'll back off a little bit. So the real telltale sign is going to be the 12Z today. Now that we got that moisture feeding out there, and it looks like there's a little less dust. But anyway, they backed off. Here's what they looked like yesterday. Let me show you. Boom. That's a huge difference. This is yesterday's 12Z run. And here's today. That is a big swing in the Euro. So I'm really curious what happens at 12Z. If we get back to more of this, then we know, something to keep watching. We'll always keep watching. But anyway, keeping it real. Try to keep both sides going, obviously. I don't want to be called a wishcaster. So anyway, that's where we're at today. Let me close these out. Tropical probability maps here. Let's talk about it. Crystal, I believe those Bermuda highs stay intact very long. We can historically look at a couple years here in a second, but usually the Bermuda high, the research I've done, is stronger during La Nina years. Chewy, we got a box from Chewy yesterday, and they actually had a little cooler with a beer in it. Wasn't a real beer, but you know. All right, so these are blends of tropical models. So I always say we'll look at the tropical depression first because it kind of really makes things look worse than what they are. But here's kind of the area. Let's go to Caribbean. So this is generally the area that we've been watching. This is August 1st. This is that wave coming in off Africa. The Euro's been picking up on it. A little less color today for tropical depression. It does move the general direction off towards Florida and the Gulf. Weaker system, more west. We've seen that strong Bermuda high is locked in place. So if anything were to develop, that definitely seems like the path somewhere, obviously, as this thing gets a little lift up. It's been very consistent with that. Remember the 6Z GFS a couple days ago developed something, and now the Canadians start to show a little bit more lower pressures. So there's that. Now we go to tropical storm. Yesterday we actually had purple in the mix, which was 20%. Now we're only getting a little dot. Only that guy. So the Euro's definitely slowed down its idea. Now it kind of does this, boom, boom, because there's two different thinkings on what it might do. So all that means is the NHC has no tropical development in 7 days, and we're vaguely watching this wave out in Africa for a lot of reasons, and I'm going to tell you why. Thank you, Courtney. That was very nice of you. What's the line by Carolina? That's just one of the ensembles. There's 51 members. You basically group them together. I remember statistics. You get an outlier here and there, but once you started getting a consensus of modeling, then I never thought statistics would pay off. But Shelly, I usually only have one eye, right? My eyes are terrible, but I did find out I do have drops now. I think I do get eye allergies. All right, there's that. What else we got? So dust. All right, so we've been talking a lot about the dust. This is kind of where we're at today. This dust here that's entering the Caribbean today, huge plume of dust today. Even though we got dust, see, dust is very misleading. We got a lot of dust in Western Gulf right now, but it's still raining. How's that possible? It doesn't always dry things up. Well, it helps inhibit development on developing tropical systems, especially on the mid-levels. Doesn't affect lower levels at all. Lower levels still rains, still get thunderstorm activity. So even though we got dust in the Western Gulf reaching Texas, Louisiana, north today, we still have juice in the atmosphere. See, dust doesn't get rid of juice. It just helps upper level winds dry up circulations. It keeps storms from growing upwards. All right. Big plume down the Caribbean right now currently. Now, this is kind of what we're looking at. It's really, really weird because even though we're showing this, the moisture maps on the Weather Nerds graphic here, well, I don't have it up anymore, but anyway, we're showing a lot more moisture in the atmosphere. But as we go forward in time, you know, let's go to the first, somewhere around here. You could say maybe it's a little less. This is the first. Maybe there's a window of opportunity somewhere here. Maybe there's a window of opportunity for one of these other little waves to get going once it clears that dust. You know, we got a couple little waves out in front of that one coming off Africa, you know, so. Dust is the big unknown. But August 1st, maybe it's going to be riding. I don't know. Not always 100% with these dust maps, too. That was NASA. I think that was NASA. Let's go. This goes out 5 days. July 30th. A little less on the CAM's dust map. So maybe it is going to be weakening a little bit. This only goes out to July 29th. Historically, though, this stops. And like I said, what I'm looking at is real-time imagery, and we're seeing a lot more moisture coming in off Africa here that might ride below any developing wave and help keep things juicy. This yellow and orange is dry air. Now what we saw here, this is interesting. This little upper level low starting to feed a little bit of moisture, right? Sometimes if we had a system down here, it would actually start to pull some of that moisture into it and help fuel a system. So even though we're keeping our eye on this one, you know, one of these little guys might end up possibly reaching a pocket of light dry air. And if this moisture here is still in place here, then it would help feed it a little bit, you know. But as of now, there's nothing dry until these maybe get into this more complicated weather pattern over here. But hey, if you wonder what the hell my brain's thinking right now, there's nothing. Yeah. So historically, this is where we're at. July. Typically, there's nothing much at all. Notice this area down here. Beryl was a complete anomaly. Broke all kinds of records. Strongest hurricane in June and July. Farthest east hurricane. All kinds of records. Yeah, so expect the unexpected. But that's July. And then we get into August. It's huge difference. There's July, and then there's August. So things really change in a pattern of a few weeks historically. So in 100 years, we have 70 plus storms right here. In 100 years, we have 10 to 29. Then we get into September, and it's like that. So we got July, August, September. So when predicting the tropics, you look at history. You say, okay, that's history. Weather conditions change over 100 years. Some years we have El Nino, some years we have La Nina, some years we have cooler water, some years we have hotter water. But over time is what we get. So this year, because we have La Nina, because we have record warm waters, hurricane outlooks are more than average. Until we see it, a lot of people turn off the internet, and I'm okay with that. Jamie asked a cool question. Has there ever been hurricanes that hit the same location more than once in a season? Yeah, 2004 around Port St. Lucie, east coast of Florida, we had Gene and Francis. There was one up in the Carolinas. I did a whole little weekly season thing one time. Carolinas around Wilmington, there was a couple that year too. 2020 also, Sally, and well, there's been a lot. Yeah, there's been a lot. I've done a lot of history on that. If you want to look at history too, here's a good site on my page right here. You can have a lot of fun with it. Past tracks right here. That guy right there. And you can look at years, and you can type in, look at 2020. Well, actually, you gotta go. I don't even know how to use this stupid thing. you can bookmark storms. All right, since I know one on the top of my head, so we'll do Francis 2004. This is what you do. You click on it. You go over here and you save it. Okay. I can't remember how to save it now. I haven't done this in a few weeks. Let's see, bookmarks. There's a way to save it. Let's see. Navigate to a storm and click the. Oh, here, right here. All right. So I'm saving Francis. Okay, boom. Okay. Now we're going to go to Gene. I never spell it right. There it is. All right. And then we save that one. Then we go over here to save maps. Say view all storms. And then we can zoom in. This is 2004. And a lot of Floridians are probably chiming in, but this was a pretty amazing stat. 2004. You can see both storms almost exact same landfall, same year. So Adam, great question, man. Adam asked a great question talking about that Bermuda high. Well, so far it seems like yeah, see Delta, Zeta, Swaggy, yep, correct. There's been a lot. It's weird. Laura and Delta. Yep, that was 2 strong Louisiana storms. I went up for Delta, Brian. Bermuda high is very interesting, though, man. We've had this locked-in pattern. I talked about it earlier. We've had afternoon storms here in Oldsmar, which means we have a strong Bermuda high. We haven't seen this in years. We've seen storms already pushing west into Texas. If anybody listened to any of my talk early season, that was the talking points this year, was western steered storms because of the stronger Bermuda high. We look at years like last year. People think it was a dud season because we didn't have anything hardly other than in the middle Atlantic. We had Idalia, we had Harold, and we had Ophelia, 2 tropical storms, and we had, of course, one major hurricane that found a way around like Michael did. But this was last year. We had a very weak Bermuda high. We had strong El Nino winds. Talk over what I've been really researching a lot. A lot of El Nino winds. Pretty much Caribbean gets shut down, but it also weakens the Bermuda high, and we have a lot of recurves going on. A lot of stuff out here. Right? A lot of stuff out there. But then we get to a year like 2020. It's completely different. 2020, look where everything's at. Very few out here. Storms have a way to make it more west because we have a stronger high in place. 2005 is another year they're comparing this to, another La Nina year similar to what we're seeing now, and you can see a lot of activity in the Western Gulf, Western Caribbean, even the Atlantic. So the percentages of storms in the Atlantic versus more west obviously shows up more during a La Nina year. And I don't recall a high locked in like this in a long time. '18 was a El Nino year. Look, Caribbean shut down. A lot of activity here. Weaker Bermuda high. Very little over here. Unfortunately, we had Florence and Michael. But as far as number of storms, majority were in the middle Atlantic. And, a lot of it's just, I believe, just strong El Nino just pushes that high farther off, and we have more recurves. Stronger Bermuda high, less recurves, and we have more chances for what we've already seen this season. So I believe in that pattern, and I'm seeing that Bermuda high, very strongly seeing that Bermuda high, to the point where I'm very fascinated by that. Bermuda high right now. 30. Now it's 30. But here's, basically in a nutshell, where we're at. Strong, almost 1030. But look at that flow. And it's all the way through the Gulf. And that's why we're getting these Texas storms up, wrapping through the Carolinas around this Bermuda high. That's why we're getting storms here develop throughout the day. Convection builds and increases as it comes across the state, and then we get a lot more action in the panhandle too from these winds. So it's very fascinating to me to watch this. Now, if this is locked in place, anything that we do develop is going to keep this push unless we get fronts, and we do have a front. That's why we have an eventual break in this high, and that's what we saw with Beryl, was eventual turn to the north, kind of like we're seeing now. Low pressure to the north. We're seeing these fronts dip down this season. A little more, it seems like. There's another front coming down. So you can see this old lingering front. We have another front coming down. So we basically have weakness. So anything that was to develop is probably going to get steered a little bit more towards this weakness around this high pressure system. So we will see. Right now we got nothing. The Rays lost again. I have a bad feeling we're going to end up 500 this season. But we are going to see Riley Green love Riley Green. All right, well, let's listen. We're in a little lull right now. We're going to be live tomorrow. They do have a good radio team, Arthur, I believe. So I do like listening to them on the radio. I got an old 69 Mustang. Bought it in 2001 before SpaghettiModels.com. And the AM radio still works. Only done it a few times, but it is fun to tune them in like the old days. My wife got a Tesla. Don't judge. Because I have a gas guzzling Charger. We have both sides of it. But the Teslas don't have an AM radio. So when you see these signs for emergency alerts, turn to AM, whatever, guess what? We can't do that. So let's hope there's no emergency alerts when we're in the Tesla, because we won't know what to do. What's up, Greg Montgomery? I knew you were sneaky watching. Hey, I put this post out too, by the way. I showed you everything so far. I put a post out about lack of circulation out there, so we're watching that wave. Oh, I did want to examine a little bit more, though. So it does appear we got a little bit of vorticity out there coming off of Africa. This map doesn't really show it that far yet, but it does look like we could see a little bit of activity east of the Verde Islands here. Maybe possibly right here. Oh, it's showing up right here too. So here's your islands right here. So this little spot right here is interesting because it looks like it could be trying to develop some sort of a low. Here's 850. Here's your islands. So something may be trying to get going here. Counterclockwise flow. Little one here, little one there. 500 millibar, strong 500 millibar presence. So this is gonna have to plop on over down on the water here, but this could be the seed that we talk about. We'll see. A lot of wind shear, but still. 700 millibar really showing up. Look at that. Today's 25th. So last week we were talking about a system that was south of the islands on the 26th. That would be right there. So the time, models bounce around, but the general thinking was something was going to be here the 26th. Today's the 25th, and that's kind of what that looks like. And if you look at satellite, that's kind of the same area right here. So maybe a little to the north of that convection though. But I'm stretching here, everybody. Trust me, I don't try to be a wish caster, but I love watching formations but if this juice, you know, and again, the only thing I'm really curious about is this moisture is showing up, really starting to moisten up the far Atlantic. That's kind of interesting to me. So we're not seeing a lot of dusty air out here. Here's the Verde Islands here. What the heck's that? Verde Islands. What the heck is that? What am I doing? Mike, stop. Click. I yell at everybody. Quit clicking. Here's your islands right here. So there's your islands. So a lot of moisture. Ooh, look at that. I just drew a face. Let's make him hillbilly something. Let's give him some ears. Give him a pupil. It's Dolly. Is that the next name? I don't even know. We had a Chris. What is the next name? Dolly? No, that was a couple years ago. Debbie. Dolly. Remember Dolly? We were all excited about talking about our big blobs. Never happened. Dolly was like a Chris. It only lasted a few hours. 2026, we have to wait. I told you, Greg, we need a redneck storm name list. We could have like Bubba, Cooter. There's AM on my phone. Chris, I didn't know that. You could do AM on your phone? Heck, I didn't know that. Seriously? Is that an app? I didn't even know that. Sheila Peak, good morning. Georgia Rain. Crystal, I love it. Oh, anyway, man, I'm excited. I'm going to be working on my truck here in a few minutes. Got that Wi-Fi failover system and learning a lot about that. Got a new camera mounted. I'm going to try. I might be mounting a third camera back point behind the truck. I might have to cut my window tint to do it, but I own, whatever. I'm gonna mount the camera first to make sure it works, and then I had to buy a USB 6 extender. In fact, I hope it came today because I get antsy. I paid the $2.99 to make sure it gets here early. That's how much gas I would use driving around looking for something. So, but we'll be live tomorrow, everybody. Yeah, G. Dandry's, I believe it. I'm just cautious about overhyping because no, I'm not because Beryl taught me water temperatures are a lot, and I didn't even mention MJO today, but MJO has got a strong signal through the early part of August here. So as we get into August, this is very strong signaling that we can see something trying to pop. So I'm not even discounting one of those little clumps of clouds in front of this thing coming off Africa once this thing gets into the Caribbean. Very strong signaling the MJO over time, over history. The MJO, one of these little waves, really helps tropics get going, and that's big. So we're even starting to see it on a lot of the modeling maps first week of August. So And the water temps, can't say it enough. We saw what Barrel did. Water temperatures are still hot. We have had a 7-day cool down temp change, which is good, meaning closer to normal. But the overall ocean heat content is what we're worried about. And ocean heat content is far more important than sea surface temperature, and that is your depth below the surface. And as we look at today, we are still hovering about the same. Still above 23, way above the 10-year normal. The main development region isn't as cold, actually. So we had a cool down out there. A lot of this was that dust. So this far region, do you really worry about it? Because unless you live in the islands, the far Atlantic, still above the norm. But hey, it's good news. It has dropped below last year. But that's because of all this dust that we've had. Dust actually cools the water. We get a solar blanket effect. And over the years, I've seen it. Strong outbreaks of Saharan dust actually cools down the waters in the far Atlantic temporarily. But that's good. Hey, we'd like to see that. Gulf is about average right now. Gulf's always about the same. So really, this is the only spot that's way above normal, the Western Caribbean. And because we're in La Nina, that's kind of the area we watch. Because once they get going, like I showed yesterday, they're not going to weaken. The water's not cold. It's just hotter than normal. And this helps storms rapidly intensify, basically. RI needs hot water. And we have hot water. Your anomaly overall here just shows that hot water. So anything that gets over here, like we saw with Barrel, will have a great opportunity to really get going. Those waters, look at the anomalies here off the coast of Florida. What are we at right now with the water temps now? I didn't even really been paying attention. Let's see what Clearwater Beach is. Ooh, 89.2. I don't know if that's normal or... Well, no, it's not, because it's where anomalies are way hotter than normal. So it's almost 90 in Clearwater Beach. Let's see some other areas we can look at. Let's look down at Naples. I think that's offline. No, we don't have any water temperatures in Naples. I always look down here at Vacay Key. Let's see what that one is. This is, they got 100 a couple weeks there. That's not that bad. We've got a lot of rain in the Keys. That keeps the water cool. So I don't think things are too bad. I mean, we can look a little more in depth. Actual water temps here. Let's zoom in. This is NASA data. Actually, some guys that work at NASA sent me this. They're like, hey man, put this on your site. I'm like, okay. Sea surface temps, and this is where we're at. Oh, we got to plot data. So, yeah, it's around 88 across the coast, Going back to anomaly maps. It's 3 degrees above normal. So even though it looks white and blue and stuff, it's still above normal. 2 degrees. 2 degrees, 2 degrees, 2 degrees, 2 degrees, 2 degrees. 3 degrees over in the Caribbean. This is what's really hot. It's 4 or 5 degrees above normal in the Caribbean. Entering the islands here. This is degrees above a 30-year normal. And just for fun, let's look at what we were at in 2020, the same time frame. Wait a minute. This hasn't been updated since 6/23. Huh. What's up with that? Well, that ain't good. Well, then, man, just erase that last 5 minutes. It's hotter now, but... Well, I like that data. Why would it not be updated? Well, all right. Well, let's look at this color map compared to the same time frame in June 2020. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, I thought I crashed Chrome. All right, 2020. So here's the anomaly map for the same week in June 2020. And then here's where we're at now. Ready? Drum roll. Boom. So don't let the normal water temperatures fool you, because we've had a lot of activity in normal water temperature days, but now we're above normal water. And we have no storms. So cool. Anyways, all right. Well, I showed you the weather for the week. Not a lot going on. Summertime patterns here. You know, nothing big on the horizon. Storm Prediction Center not showing much. We just got that lingering front. Storm Prediction Center not really showing much other than up north. That's that for me. Been an hour. Hey, we made an hour. Yeah, Greg, I don't know what's up with the Pacific being so much cooler than the Atlantic. It's crazy. Look at this. Something about this. Look at this difference. These waters here, let's go sea surface temperatures, but still, look how much cooler. It's crazy to think the difference here. And just separation by the U.S. here and Mexico. So much difference. Water temperatures in the 50s and 60s out west. And of course, a lot of that's because of the deeper Pacific Ocean. And a lot of systems here upwell this. Oh, I can't use my pointer, but anyway, upwelling brings a lot of cold water to the surface out west. Dude. Muppets. Oh my God, Sarah loves the Muppets. Yeah, Sarah, definitely right. Chris, okay, I'll note that. Hey, by the way, Chad, I almost got me a CB yesterday, and then I got sidetracked by my Storm Chaser truck project I'm doing. But oh, let's see. Every day we talk about a new sponsor. Let's talk about Done Right today. Done Right's locally to me, and we've had a lot of rain here in Tampa Bay area. Lots of rain, inches of rain, crazy rain, flooding rains, downright 2-3 inches at a time sometimes. So anyway, we got good friends at Done Right. You see their blue and orange trucks all around town. As a matter of fact, they just had a pop-up here about hurricane season alert. Look at that. But if you got any roofing, Pasco, Pinellas, Hillsborough, give them a call. They're good friends of mine. They do a lot for the storm industry, and they've been here a lot of years. And they support a lot of stuff, including Emily's high school, Palm Harbor University softball program. So we really appreciate it. So if you need any roofing, you know anybody that does, give them a call. They support us, so support them. We appreciate it. We'll be live tomorrow and see what changes. I'll be posting after 12 o'clock today, probably about 3 o'clock. See what the latest European model says. But right now, things are quiet. So I guess I could have done the whole show in an hour and did a whole 1 minute. So we'll see y'all. I'm going to keep it on the Brew Crew. Remember, you can always support us, mwpchat.com. You can be a subscriber and get a lot of perks, including access to our MWP chat page and talk only weather. The best weather platform on the planet you can be a part of. All right, we'll see y'all tomorrow.